Hey guys, it is Mr. Transmayer here with another video. We've been doing some graphics stuff this week. On Monday, Tuesday's class, we learned how to draw some stuff with the mouse. We're going to use those same concepts to draw with a timer. So, we're just going to start a basic form application here, of course. Put it on the desktop. And I'm going to call this Draw Polygons. So, you all know what polygons are from math class, of course. Shapes like quadrilaterals, triangles, all those basic fun things. So in Visual Basic, there are ways to create lines, rectangles, and ellipses, ovals, which then, of course, you can make squares from rectangles, and you can make circles from ellipses or ovals. But any other shape, like a triangle or like a pentagon, say, a star, you would have to use what we're going to do today. It's going to require a little bit of coordinate magic. So for our form, of course, I'm going to change our text to draw polygons. I'm going to make the size something specific. I'm going to go 600 by 600. I'm going to also make our background white. Kind of like a piece of paper for us to draw on. Then, the tool that we want, I'm going to make a timer. So I'm going to go up to my search bar, just double click, make a timer. And my properties of that timer are going to be interval 1, and my enabled will be true. So it's going to be running when we start the program. Alright, next, I'm going to double click on the form itself. Take us into form load. Let me first put my little header at the top, draw polygons. This is whenever, whatever period, we'll just leave it at that. So, we need to randomize because we're going to be doing some random numbers. We are also going to need the line that we did in class, the screen equals me dot create graphics. You need to say that because that's how you do the graphics on the form, but of course we also need to go up top then because it doesn't know what screen is. We're going to say dim screen as graphics. So the combination of those lines together is what makes our graphics. We're also going to make what's called a solid brush. I'm going to call it my brush as a solid brush. So on Monday, Tuesday's class, when we drew lines, we used a pen. Pens will draw the outline of a shape for shapes that don't have filled in colors. The brushes are for when you have a solid object. You fill in the center. So it's like a circle that has the filled in shape, stuff like that. So we're using a brush. There are different kind of brushes. A solid brush would be that you just want one solid color. So the next part of this then is inside the timer. What we're going to do is I'm going to go to the timer tick. I'm going to dim R, G, B as an integer, but I'm also going to dim alpha. Alpha is transparency. It is the alpha channel. It is the A in from A RGB. So you have all of the 16.7 million random RGB colors, but you also have another byte, another number from 0 to 255, which controls the transparency or the translucence or the opaqueness of an object. I think this will become pretty apparent when we actually see what this program looks like. So R is a random number times 256, and so is G, and so is B, and so is alpha. You will see this come up a lot in these programs because if you want to do a random number, well, that's how you do it. Now, what we're going to do is it's almost like, if you're an artist, you're picking up what paint brush, what paint color you want. I'm going to dim my color as a color. So we're getting into, earlier, I think it was last week, we talked about all these different variables. There's singles, doubles, there's strings, integers, booleans, and I said at the time, like, there's other ones, they're objects. Well, you've seen a couple here today: graphics, color, solid brush. There's lots of these different variable types. And so what we're saying here is I'm going to make a brush in my color. And so how do you set my color? Well, you say my color equals a color dot from a RGB, R comma G comma B comma alpha. Oops, I actually had that in the wrong order. Sorry about that. It's actually alpha. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. Alpha comma red comma green. I don't know why it isn't doing that. He's yelling at me. Oh, because it's not. Oh my gosh. I'm out of my mind here, guys. Sorry about that. RGB. I'm saying the words out loud and they're not coming out of my fingers correctly. So, anyway, as I was saying, so A for alpha and then RGB. The reason I don't use red, green, blue, like I did RGB instead of red, green, blue, like I could type them out. It's just, I'm going to try and save a little bit of time. So, from here then, you dip the brush in the color. What you say is my brush equals a new solid brush. Based on what? Based on what color? See, it's even giving you a hint here. See these things at the top of the star? It's basically suggesting the IntelliSense, the IntelliCode, my color. So, what do you do with that then? Well, let's check it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make two more variables, x and y. I'm going to make a random number up to 600, which, if you remember, that was the default size of our screen. Or not the default, that's what the size we made, the screen. So I'm going to then say dim P1 as a new point, x comma y. So what we're doing is we are saying x and y are going to be a coordinate somewhere on the form. And that's two variables. I'm going to make it into one. I'm going to say this is a point. Of course, you all know what points are from algebra and pre-algebra. Geometry, every math class you've ever been in, for the most part, since middle school, has had points in it. So if we're making triangles, we need three vertices. We need 3 points. All right. So how do we make a triangle? Pretty easily from one random point. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say P2 is a new point. I'm going to do x plus 25, comma y plus 25. So from my random point, I'm going to go over to the right 25 and down 25. Then P3 as a new point, I'm going to say x minus 25, y plus 25. So you're going over left 25, but still down 25. So just really quickly here, to show you what I've just drawn, and of course you're going to see it in a minute when we actually run the program, but here's my form, and I said, let's pick a random number. How about right here? All right, so there's P1. So P2, like I said, it's over 25, down 25, so somewhere about here. It's going to take P1 and it's going to connect P2. Now, P3, I said negative 25, so it's going to go over this far, the same distance, and down to the same level of y, because it's going down 25 for y. So it's going to connect those two, and then it will know to go back to the beginning with the command I'm about to show you. So it's going to make a polygon out of those 3 points. Pretty nifty. All right, so from here, we're going to dim points as point left and right parenthesis equals. We're going to do a curly brace. And when you do a left one, it makes a right one. P1, comma P2, comma P3. So what you've just done is you've made a collection of points. You've made an array. You've made a list. Remember those from Python? This is how you would do it in Visual Basic. You're saying we take 3 individual points and we've made an array or a list out of it. So the final step, screen.draw polygon. And when you hit the left parenthesis, it's telling you 2 things. It's telling you it's recommending a point or a pen and a point. Well, we don't have a pen, we have a brush instead. But that's okay, you can do a pen or a brush. So draw polygon by brush, comma points. And let's check out, oops, I did actually the wrong command. I knew that was highlighted. I want to fill polygon. The reason I was doing pen is because pen would be for draw, fill would be for brushes. My mistake. So let's run this. And here's the fun program you get. Your screen is being filled with random triangles that we drew. And if you notice, they're all different colors, but they're also different transparencies. So every 1 millisecond, I think we set the interval to, it's going to draw a new triangle. Pretty cool program. Feel free to tweak as needed. Enjoy.